Hope you all are doing good. So in the previous video we have seen how we have parameterized the mutation query. In this particular video we are more focusing about on mutation queries, how we can use the variables and parameterize the mutation queries with the help of that. So what I will do, I will just again create another spec file. So let me do one thing, just copy paste the same thing again because I am going to use a lot of things from there. So let me rename this file for you. So I will just say something like the var spec.js. So you can see it has most of the data from the previous spec file because I'm only going to change a little bit here and there. The rest of the concept anyhow will remain same. So let's switch to a playground, okay, and see how we can write the mutations for that. Okay, so let's write mutation for insert user. Okay, so let me copy this and type mutation insert user. So we have seen right in the previous queries as well how to write the mutation. First of all, we'll be defining a variable and it is scalar type UID. So it accepts ID as UID scalar type, then it accepts name, right, which will be of the form of a string for us. Then it will be accepting rocket of string scalar type, right? Now, so these are the same thing, right? Whatever we have used ID, name, and rocket. That's what we are going to parameterize. So if I say insert user and if I want to use object, okay, so let's say returning what I will be needing, I will be just returning ID. So let's see ID, name, and rocket timestamp. ID, name, rocket, timestamp. Cool. Now what we will be seeing now, and at this particular point we will be parameterizing the ID with our appropriate variable of ID, name with our appropriate variable of name, and rocket with our appropriate variable name of rocket. Okay, so that's what, right? Now we are done, right? So it is like a mutation query for us. All we need to do is now we need to see how we can define the variable, right? So query variable can be defined as a part here. So if you type ID, it will show the ID. So let's see ID from this online UID generated tool. So let's copy this one, paste it here. Now again name. So let's take some random name as say QWERTY. I don't know, means these are the keys which I saw at the top of the keyboard and just type it like that. Okay, so name is there, then variable is rocket, so let's say QWERTY rocket. Makes sense? So I think everything is ready for us, and let's see what will happen if I put when I hit a button on this. So yeah, you can see pretty much it is creating the data for us. So let's copy this query, okay, and go here and paste in place of mutation. So little bit, yeah, now it looks good. Now create variables as well. So let me copy this one. So const variables equal to this. Looks fine. So now again we are not going to hardcode the data like this. We have created the variable for this, right? You can see the ID was created for this, and I think name was created for this, and the rocket name was created for this, right? So these three variables are coming from these three small methods which we have created with the help of two libraries which are UUID and random string that we have already seen as a part of our previous video. Now what you need to do, you need to just pass this variable as a you can say it is accepting a variable. So just pass this variables. Now you will get in data. Now after that, in the previous video we have seen it is just giving a lot of data on that. So let's do something like this time. Instead of cost, define this let variable and I will reassign the value again. So at this point what we will do, we will see whether the user has been created or not, right? That's what we are so user has been created at this point. Now we need to see whenever just we are getting all the user, whether we are getting that created user as a part of our users query or not, right? So for that, instead of just doing like something like this, printing all the users at the time, we will be printing all the users, but then we'll be filtering the data on the basis of one which we have created. Okay, so as of now, if I print on the console, the data will something look like me on the console. It will become very difficult to just go through it and just check whatever the particular user we have created, right? So let's do one thing. Let's say user request. So the user request maybe like dot data dot users dot filter. So filter is a method which is used to filter the data, and we can see x dot id triple equals to id, right? So let's see whether it's working fine or not. If it is fails, then we'll see what errors we can fix on this. I think pretty much look good to me. Okay, let's see. I will say node source test mutation underscore vars spec.js. Cannot okay, sorry, I think is it something like this? User request that you cannot read property users of undefined. It has created the data for me, right? We can see with this one. Let's try to run it again. Yeah, so you can see, right, the user request.user with the in this particular user will be getting the data and it will be iterating across this. So whenever this a particular request with this particular data match with the ID which we have which we are passing as a part of the variable, it will just show the result to us. So yeah, that's pretty much. So once again I will just go through it and just let you know how we did it. So we created a query, right, and we defined the variable which will be coming from your variables object later on. So we have like some insert user which will accept in an object of ID of scalar type, UID name of string, rocket of string, and we are just sending the data according to our requirement. Then we are creating an object variable passing that as a part of our parameter to the request and just printing it. After that we are just checking whether whatever the data has been created is actually exists on the user's query part or not. That we send a request to it again and we just filter on the basis of the ID. So this is how we created we have used the variables for parameterizing the mutation queries. So that's all for this particular video. Thank you guys again, and again if you like my video and content, please like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you once again. Have a nice day.